For RTS, okay. So my name is Bryna Koch, and I am a volunteer with Civic Engagement Beyond Voting, and also a volunteer with a couple groups in CD2 in Arizona, Southern Arizona, including one of the Indivisible groups, and then Represent Me AZ, which does a lot of the candidate forums. So I am a volunteer for them, and my background is that I have a master's degree in public health, and my focus is actually public policy. So communicating with the legislature and developing public policy is something I focus on for my work, and then I really enjoy teaching people how to use the Request to Speak system, which is our way to get our voice up to the legislature in Phoenix. So just really quickly, how many of you have heard of Request to Speak? Okay, so people have heard of it. How many of you have signed up for an account? Okay, so we got accounts, that's great. So how many people are unclear if their account has been verified? Okay, so 2 unclear. We'll sort that out today and get that verified. All right. So the awesome thing about Request to Speak is that it is really our way to talk to the legislature when they are in session. I don't know how many of other states have this system. I checked for my brother who's in Texas, and they still would have to go to the Capitol in person in order to get their opinions heard to their representatives. So this is a really awesome way that we can use our voice virtually. And really what this represents is that in our Constitution, all of our the political power should be inherent in the people. That's what our state Constitution says. And I know it sometimes doesn't feel that way, but this is one of the tools we have to make sure that that happens. One of the other reasons I love Request to Speak is that I am a bit of an introvert. I love doing this at home by myself on Sunday evening, sometimes Monday morning, but it basically enables you to use your voice from the comfort of your own home. And so sometimes that is just what people need to do that week. We all do have different strategies, but this is one that you can do from, in your pajamas with your fuzzy slippers on in front of your laptop. That's how I think lots of people do it. So Request to Speak. And how are people, is that, it's a little small, but I'll provide a link to the presentation, and we'll send it out afterwards. It's also included on this sheet, but it's kind of long, so I'll email it out. We'll make sure you all get it.
Yes, I want to make sure everybody sign in, that's important.
Yeah, so you'll get this presentation, so you can refer to it. So RTS is an online tool. It lets you register your support or opposition on a bill. You do not have to speak in person, right? So Request to Speak, when it says Request to Speak, that means request to speak virtually, and then if you want to, you can go speak in person, but that's not required. So everyone knows who their reps and senators are. If not, there's a front page right on the Arizona Legislature front page that lets you look up who your rep and senators are. But it sounds like everyone has a pretty good handle on who those folks are. So this is the front page of the Arizona Legislature website. Now you will see that this is the link to Request to Speak. Right here, it kind of runs up and down right in the middle of the page. This is an accordion pullout, so it moves when you hover over.
It's very dizzying.
It's not great design because people tend not to be able to see it, but the link is right there on the front page. And I'll go through and demo Request to Speak so you can see how it looks live. So this is the Kill Bill guide, which Greer went over completely, so we're not gonna cover that. But it's a really good reference, a really good understanding for how bills go through the process. The key point in this guide that relates to RTS is that you can only comment when the bill is in committee. That is the only time you have when you can say, yes, I support, or no, I oppose this bill, and leave your 150-character comment.
200.
So, is it 250? Okay, it's 250-character comment. Once the bill has been voted on and it is either failed or passed out of committee, you've lost your opportunity to RTS. You can still call a legislator or your legislator or senator and speak to them, but you cannot leave a comment. So it has to be when it's in committee. Okay, so we have some accounts, and I think probably the best way to do this is I'll go through the screenshots and then I'll show you what it looks like when I log in. So you sign into your account, you either create an account or you sign in, and then once you've got that done, you will see Sharon. She's the one who put together this presentation, so her name is right up there. So you know you're signed in if you see your name show up in the upper right-hand corner. So that's the request to speak page. If you want, you can add your voter information. This tells the people that are looking at the RTS comments that you're a registered voter in Arizona. Now, you do not have to be a registered voter in Arizona to use RTS. My parents spend 4 months out of the year here, and I have them signed up. Right? They live here, they can provide feedback, they just are not a registered voter. So even if you're under 18, right, you're still a constituent, you still live in Arizona, you can use RTS. You just would not be able to fill out the voter verification form. It's not required, but it's great to let the people viewing the comments let them know that yes, you can vote. This is the front page of RTS. And then the request to speak button is the little microphone. So again, a little misleading because it makes you think that you actually have to go in person, but you don't. So, but that's the RTS icon, is the microphone there. And it's really easy. You just go to the left-hand side of the page, you click New Request, and what you need to know is a bill number, right? What bill do I want to give my opinion on? And this is where the group that I am a volunteer for, Civic Engagement Beyond Voting, comes in really handy, or some of the other organizations you might support, like Sierra Club. They're going to send you newsletters of the bills and how they want you to advocate for those bills, whether or not you should support or whether or not you should oppose those bills. So every Sunday, Saturday night, Sunday, Civic Engagement Beyond Voting sends a newsletter. It has a whole rundown of the bills and the recommended positions. Now, she takes information from different advocacy organizations, and if you have an organization that you particularly care about, Planned Parenthood, Sierra Club, ACLU, they might also have legislative updates that you can sign up for. And I think your list has...
I have some of them, but there, as you say, there are many more.
Yeah, so if there's reach out to the organizations you belong to and see if they have a legislative newsletter. And so you'll get that list, and that will give you the bill numbers, right? You don't have to know them, but the list from your organization will give you the bill numbers. You plug them into the search box, and then you hit search.
And don't you have to hit search? Any
Yeah,
enter doesn't work.
the system's a little funky, but once you learn it, you got it. So yes. Search bill number, then you hit search here at the bottom. So you put your bill number in the search phrase, hit search. And then you're going to get a bill is going to come up. You're going to click on that bill. I'll show you when we go through the live version. And this is the nice format you get. So it's pretty intuitive. Yes, you support the bill. The head shape is neutral, don't have an opinion. And then the thumbs down is I'm against this bill. So those are just the actual buttons that you click to give your opinion. Now this next part's really important. Do you wish to speak? Only click yes if you are going in person to testify in front of the committee. Okay? If you are just leaving a comment virtually, you're gonna select no. Your comment still gets recorded, your position still gets recorded. That part is, do you wish to speak, in person, right? So I wish they would just add that on. But that would mean you were going to give testimony to the committee, right? So you're gonna click no, I don't wish to go in person unless you do. And then you have 250 characters to leave a comment. Usually there are a lot of bills on civic engagement beyond voting. I usually only comment on the ones I feel particularly feisty about. So either supporting or opposing. The comments are public record, So anything you write in there, someone can look up. So, gear your language accordingly. It's part of the public record. The other app that's really useful is called Bill Status Inquiry. It's paired along with Request to Speak, and it tells you the status of your bill, where it is at in the legislative process. So I'll show you what that looks like again in a live demo. But this is an example of the information that you can see on a bill. So you get the overview of the bill status, any videos that have been attached to it. Sometimes that's testimony or the committee hearings, the sponsors, the current RTS positions. That's really interesting to go in and see who has supported or opposed a bill. You'll notice some trends in opposition or support. Some groups are pretty organized. You will also see lobbyists. So you'll see some lobbyists putting in their support or opposition to different bills. And that's a screenshot. We'll go in and look at a live bill from this session, but this is a screenshot of, I'm not sure what bill number this was, but you can see there's only one person for it from the East Valley Chamber of Commerce. But then there's this massive section of people against this bill, right? So this is something that I find interesting, and I have actually taken screenshots of this and sent it to representatives and asked them why they voted for a bill when, there was a significant opposition listed in RTS, and show them what it looks like. You can keep track of bills that are of particular interest to you. If you have an issue you feel very passionately about, you can create your own kind of list page of topics, and you can add bills to that list, and then track those bills on your own kind of personal page. And I'll show you what that looks like as well. We'll go through that. It's all of that. Now, RTS is not enough. It's a great tool, but oftentimes it's not enough, right? We have to do more. So a great thing to do for the bills that, if you have time, you can do it for all the bills that are recommended through civic engagement beyond voting. But if you don't, you can focus on the ones that are really important to you, is to follow up to your reps and senator with an email or a phone call. Sometimes you can follow up directly with a committee chair and ask them, why they haven't heard this bill or what's going on. You can even follow up with the Senate President or the House Speaker, right? If they haven't assigned a bill, and ask them what's going on with that bill. It's, as Greer said, it's not quite the federal level where you're really only supposed to contact your representative. In Arizona, it's much more accessible, and you can reach out to committee chairs and talk to them. They might listen to their constituents a little more, but they'll listen to you. Okay, so the key thing is getting that newsletter, getting your weekly update, because that's going to prompt you to go into RTS and leave your positions. So the one I use and the organization I work with is Civic Engagement Beyond Voting. And I think on Greer's sheet and on this sheet, there's a link to their website to sign up for that newsletter. Once you sign up for that newsletter, you'll get it Saturday evenings, Sunday mornings, and that's your cue to go into RTS and leave your positions. She provides a summary of the bill and the recommended positions. But if a bill has had a strike everything go through it, she will flag it and send kind of an emergency alert, so you can go in and change your RTS position. So you can go back and edit your position, right? So if you said, yes, I support feeding onions to cows, and that gets a strike everything, and now it's something you don't want to support, you can go back in and say, nope, I don't support this new bill. It was a strike everything.
You do have to have a comment when you change your position.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
I just
so,
found that
yeah,
out.
and
I
you
think
can-
that's new.
Yeah, you can add, change because strike everything, no longer agree, right? Okay, so I think we are at, there's also a school-based legislative update that you can sign up for. So I believe if you just Google SOSAZ, legislative brief, they're keeping track in a very similar way of all the education-related bills, right? And so even though Prop 305 went the way we wanted, there are still some, ESA and charter-related bills percolating in the legislature. So they're really tracking specifically education briefs. So that's a great resource as well. All right, that's okay. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you go online real quick and get a sense of that.
I believe that there's an easier way to get into request to speak other than that accordion thing that makes me insane. And it's apps.azledge.gov,
Yes.
and that'll take you right into request to speak.
Yes.
Because that accordion thing just makes me jump out.
Yeah, so here's the accordion in action. No, it's terrible. But if you can't remember where request to speak is, it's right here. It is on that accordion. You can click on, and this is exactly what Greer said. It's apps and then .azledge.gov / and that'll get you to your request to speak. So I went to the landing page. I'm not signed in, so I go to sign on in the upper right-hand corner. And this is where I pray that I remember my password. I'm pretty sure I do. Yes, okay. So this is the main page for the Arizona legislative request to speak and bill status inquiry. All right, so right away you can see I've been pretty good about going in, and these are all the bills that I've left a position on, right? It's right there, it's a whole list of all. Now you can see that if a bill is no longer in committee, it's closed. I won't be able to comment again until it's in committee again. Right, so let's say it's gone through the 2 committees in the House it's been assigned to. I can't comment again until it's transferred over to the Senate and been assigned to committee, and then it'll open up again. So let's say I want to make a new request to speak. I want to leave my opinion. I go over on the left-hand side. So I want to select a new request. And then just today, one of my reps, Randy Fries, sent out an alert about one of his bills, which is 2525. So I put in the bill number, select search, and then this is the part where you have to go to the bottom right-hand screen. Bottom right-hand, and you have the button that says add request. That's going to prompt the system to give you your for, neutral, and against, yes or no. And so I am for this bill about teacher training. I'm not going to go speak in person. And let's just say I'm kind of pressed for time and I don't need to leave a comment. And then, so I have my for button, I have no, I don't wish to speak in person. And then you don't need to leave a comment, and then you can click submit. And there you are, you're done. You've requested, you gave your thumbs up, your thumbs down, you're ready to go. Let's look at the bill status inquiry.
One thing, and when you're doing that, a new request too, is you notice that Bryna didn't put SB 2525, because all bills that are in the Senate start with the 1000 series, and all the bills in the House start with the 2000 series, and they start over again every session. So we talk about HB 1070, there's always a 1070, SB 1070. So you just have to remember that sometimes there are these SCRs and HCMs that may have the same number as a House bill or a Senate bill. So make sure you are looking at the bill that you really want to be looking at. I'll show you an example of that.
So this is a bill about providing dental care to pregnant women who are on the state Medicaid program. I supported this bill from a public health perspective. It's no longer in committee, but I believe it passed out of committee. I go all the way to the bill status inquiry. All right, so we'll go up to the left, bill status inquiry, and then we'll go 1088, search. Okay, so this is what tells you what's happening on the bill. So if you have a particular bill you're tracking, You will get the bill history and documents documents is where you can find the actual text of the bill in a Word or sometimes PDF document. So that's where the bill language is. Bill status tells you where it's at. So it's had its first and second read in the Senate. That's where it originated. This is where sponsor keywords, that's where you find out who's sponsoring and what the keywords are. So you see that that's a kind of a pretty bipartisan list of sponsors for this bill on dental coverage. This is the part I love to go to, RTS current positions. And there are no against, oh wait, no there is. There's 2 against.
2 really mean ladies.
So, and 1 neutral. And so you notice that this AZ healthcare cost containment system, yep, is in caps. So that's okay because he's identified himself by the caps that he is a registered lobbyist at the state. So that his organization is all in caps. It is very common for state organizations to register as neutral on bills. Right, so you'll see the Arizona Department of Health Services, Access, they'll sign in, they'll say, we know about this bill, but we're neutral because they are not really permitted to take a position. But they do have I use the word lobbyists, I think in the legal language you're supposed to use government relations person. So, and yeah, but you can see like there's a lot of support for this bill and sometimes you'll see your own, oh, there I am.
Yeah, I just saw me too.
Yep. So there you are. So you get a sense of what the support looks like. Again, the lobbyists or the government relation folks are all caps. There's one, Banner Health, Arizona. Dental Hygienists Association. There's another lobbyist, March of Dimes. So that's an easy way to see the lobbying organizations that are supporting or opposing a bill. Sometimes that gives me a cue as to whether or not my position is correct, right? You look at the opposition and see who's opposing. Let's see, and then documents, we've already looked at that. So in terms of personal progress, so this is where you can set up your own lists. So again, personal progress is down on the left-hand side of the screen. I have 3 lists that I've set up: education, access, and public health. Those are the 3 issues that I'm interested in. I can add bills to this list. So we'll go back to the access bill.
Can I make a comment about that personal comments up at the very top?
Oh,
That is a place that this is the screen for bill status inquiry. If you know that this is going to be tracking through committees, you can make your comments there. Nobody else sees them but you. But it's a way for you to copy and paste the same comment in. As you know, you made comments when it was in the House. It's going through committee in the Senate. You want to make the same sort of comments. You don't have to go back and remember what you said. You can just keep comments there, but nobody else sees those in that personal bill comments. That is your memo section.
do not comment here unless it's just for personal use. No one.
That's correct. No one will see it, but it's a handy place to stash your own aids to memory or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So this is 1088. This is a bill I support. It's dental care coverage for pregnant women on access. At the bottom here, I can send to my personal progress page. So I can select a list, and I want to send it to the Access Medicaid list, and then I send it over there. And now it's on. I go back to personal progress on the left, and now I'm tracking that bill on my personal progress page. So I can check on it, right? Go back to it, reference it, see where it's at, and use my comments and copy and paste them over. But that's a good way if you have a particular interest area to keep track of what you've commented on. Let's see, I think that is about it. Someone asked about request to speak 2.0.
Okay.
Yes.
I can, you want me to do it?
Yeah, I think I taught myself how to do it really quickly.
It's really, yeah, you go
okay,
ahead.
you tell me how to do it and I'll do it on here.
Okay, so basically, this was something that actually Meg Pradelt, who is another RTS trainer, figured out last year. And she was teaching people this, although it's a back door. So remember I said that Rusty Bowers is holding all of those bills? He's not letting them go to committee. He's not letting them get on agendas. If you want to express an opinion about those bills, even though they're not on an agenda in a committee, turns out you can do it. So what you do is you go to My Bill Positions.
Oh, my bill.
So go into Request to Speak. You can also do it here, I think, but.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so go into Request to Speak app, go into My Bill Positions, and then suddenly, look what you have up here. You've got an empty field up here, so you have all your bill positions, but say you want to put in, and I don't actually know what this bill is, it was just, she said, take my word for it, you want this.
Okay.
2021, well, you'll find out what it is.
Right
So,
to vote.
it's right to vote, yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's both of them,
signatures,
actually.
right.
But you can see how 2021 brings up two things.
Yep.
HB, which is a online signature submittal, and HCR, which is a right to vote. So she says both of those, so you
Okay.
pick one of those.
I don't think I've done
So
this.
suddenly, here is this 2021, you say for, and you say add. And what happens is the speaker, if he's going to look at this, is going to see, oh, look, there's 700 people who think this should be assigned to committee.
Yep. And
It-
today, Dr. Freese sent out a call saying, call about my bill 2525,
Mhm.
right? But this would be another way. 2525 had not been assigned to committee, and he wanted to get it
Yeah,
assigned
and
to
there's a
committee.
whole lot of justice reform bills that haven't been assigned to committee that I did this for too.
Now,
So-
where did you start on the left-hand
So
side?
I went to applications, and I
Yeah.
went to my request to speak, and then my bill positions.
Okay,
And then that's my, that's my list
Yeah.
of all my positions, right? And this is where you would go if you get an update that something needs to be changed, right? So
Right.
you've been following the Civic Engagement Beyond Voting newsletter, there's been a strike everything, she gave you the number, you go back to my positions, you look for it, and you go over here to update.
right, but this is a bill that is still
Right.
not assigned.
Correct,
So-
it's being held.
Yeah,
Right, okay. Now, there were a number of positions that were for in Ira's report, and I went to all of them, and they didn't come up.
yes.
That's where you put, this is where you
Yeah.
put this.
Yes.
Because they haven't been assigned to a committee.
Right.
Or they're not
Or-
on an agenda for a committee.
Yeah, or if you have, the Sunday night, Monday evening, right, because if a committee, those Monday committees,
Yeah,
as soon as they clear out, you've lost your chance.
no, I understand that. This is over the weekend,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
right.
either they've been pulled, right, so
Mhm.
sometimes they'll get pulled off an agenda. The committee chair, it'll be on the agenda, and then for whatever reason, the committee chair will pull it,